Hey there, comic book friends, I'm Travis, and it's time for another edition of What the Fugue, where I talk about what's going on with me in my week of comics. Kind of a Debbie Downer version of What the Fugue, or kind of feels that way. Maybe it won't be. Ooh, don't bump the camera. Maybe it won't be that way by the time I'm done. So, you know, I did all this manipulating and whatnot and measuring of weights and to try and figure out how to get my comic books sent to me, so I would get them in a weekly fashion within a few days after New Comic Book Day. And I thought I had that figured out because the company I'm using, if the comics were under 3 pounds, they would mail them through USPS, United States Postal Service, priority mail. I'd have them in 2-3 days, which means I'd have them Thursday, Friday generally, and that would be great because I'd be able to look at some of my books before doing, the comic book shows that I tend to do all on Fridays and on the weekends and that sort of thing. That's gonna be all great. Fine. Latest comic book order for today. Today is Wednesday, July 10th, New Comic Book Day. So I thought, gee, I'll be getting my comics on. One second. I don't know if you can hear that noise in the background, somebody's phone going off. But at any rate, I would be able to get my comics on Friday, everything would be hunky-dory. This week's comics, 2.5 pounds. I get an email this morning telling me my comics have been shipped FedEx. FedEx always takes at least a week to get the books to me, so I won't get my new books until Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. And I'm not really happy about that. Immediately got on the phone, not on the phone, but on the email at 5 o'clock this morning and fired off an email to the company I get my comic books from going, what's the deal? What's the problem? How come I did all this stuff? This isn't worth me getting weekly comics if I'm not getting them weekly. If it's going to be that late, I might as well just go for back to the bi-weekly or whatever, which isn't what I really want to do. I really like the idea of this whole getting my comic books weekly like everybody else does, and being able to participate in the current comics that are coming out. So sent out the email telling them how I was pretty well disgusted with the system they had going. How come they were using that. Come home for lunch, decided to check my email, and they've said that basically FedEx has given them some great deal, and that's why they're shipping all FedEx. But I did some wheeling and dealing with them, and I've got it set up to where I'm going to get my books sent priority mail anyway. My account's been special flagged. So hopefully that'll be the case. I need to email them back again and find out whether or not it's just the stuff under 3 pounds they're going to mail to me that way, or if they're going to mail all of them that way, and I might pay some sort of difference. I'm not 100% sure on that. So there's that. Good and bad. Bad, still don't have my damn comics for this week, and I won't have them this week. I won't get them until next week. That sucks. But the upside is it looks like we've turned a corner, and I've got this completely officially figured out how to get my books within the same week that they come out. So, good and bad. That leads into the whole, doing the Hangouts things. This is the next thing, which is kind of bad. And I guess a good side to it, too. We'll see once it all squares away. So, I've been having all these problems with Hangouts, as you guys have all noticed. Anytime I host a Hangout, it sucks. I was on the Sunday Brunch Hangout with Runs with Comics and The Spins, 1340, 1390, can't remember the numbers, Kevin. And that seemed to be okay. I didn't seem to have too much lag. It didn't seem like when I was talking to them there was a whole lot of lag or anything like that, so that was fine, which kind of surprised me. But anyway, the weekend Hangouts, I have a problem, as you can tell. I keep crashing, or Google Hangouts keeps dropping me. Well, I did a bunch of investigating. I finally figured out how to actually contact Google Text to say, what the heck's going on? Why is this happening? They gave me a bunch of information that I could look at, and it seems that my internet doesn't meet the specifications of Google Hangouts. They must have changed something, because it used to be I didn't have a problem with Google Hangouts, but in the last, 4 or 5 months, it's gotten really bad. So they must have changed some specifications. I technically don't have the minimum upload speed for even just to do my own Hangout by myself. So checked with my internet company. I actually get my internet through a localish, independently owned internet company that I have gotten internet service from for the past 20 years. 20 years I've been getting internet service from them. So if you do the math, that means I started out with dial-up, you know, the old 14.4, 14.4, you know, dial-up back in the really old days, and have been with them and upgraded as we went along. They can't upgrade anymore from me right now. At some point they might have the proper equipment put in place to actually run it, but not anytime soon. So I'm going to experiment by changing companies that provide my internet. I'm going to go with the big chain company. We'll see how that works out. Their speeds are a bajillion times faster, so even if I only get half the service I'm paying for, it still should be plenty fast for me to do Hangouts without issues and that sort of thing. The only downside is of course, I'm no longer using I will no longer be using a company I've used for the last 20 years. I'm fairly loyal to, obviously. My personal email address will change and all that kind of stuff, but I guess I can live with that. God, I gotta quit kicking the camera. Sorry about that. But I like doing the Hangouts. I like doing the Hangouts enough that I want that to be a quality thing. And right now it's not a quality thing. They're coming next Monday. So this weekend will be another adventure in futility, probably. I am not going to cancel the Comic Talk, or the Comic Book Roundtable this Friday. We're going to do it. I'm just going to crash a whole bunch. So this is fair warning if you watch these things before you watch that we're probably going to crash a bunch. I will try to come back. I really try to come back and at least say, okay, I've crashed enough times, we're done for the night. But the last 2 nights I haven't been able to do that because it reaches a certain point where it won't just flat won't let me back on. If I reboot everything and wait about 5-10 minutes, then I can get back on. And by then the broadcast has completely ended. So if I disappear and we're gone for more than 5-10 minutes, don't keep hanging around because we're not going to be back. And I apologize for that. But like I said, hopefully Monday I get this new service. Hopefully everything will be up and running. And so then that'll be all that much more quality. And the Hangouts, hopefully that'll all run great and whatnot. Heck, I probably will venture into more Hangouts because it'll be working better. I'll have more confidence and won't feel like I'm putting out a really crappy video. I mean, I appreciate the fact that people like listening to me talk and stuff. I really do appreciate that. But I don't want to make you sit through something that's out of sync or grainy or it keeps crashing and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to venture off into a new internet to get that. So I'm excited for that because my upload times will be much faster. I'll actually be able to upload videos faster. Right now, like if I do a Monster Comics reviews, and normally I split it into 2 halves because each half is 20 minutes long. And I always, when we do the first one, I always say I'll be right back with the second half. Usually it takes a day for me to upload the second half because it's so slow uploading. For me to upload that 20 minutes is almost like 6 hours plus or whatever. So going to this new service is going to be 4 times faster. So I should be able to put videos out quicker if I want to. Don't know if I will. I don't know if I'll have time to crank out that many more videos, but I can. I'll be more inclined to do video responses to other people's videos if it's going to be, like that, to upload those videos. I'm more inclined to do that. So I'm kind of looking forward to doing that. No guarantees yet, but I am kind of looking forward to doing that because I think the video is a cool thing and it's cool to be able to respond to people video-wise. So, there's that. So I'm excited about that. Heck, I might even do my videos in HD. All my videos get recorded in HD, and then I convert them down to a standard affair just because of the time and whatnot. But I'll kind of play with that as we go along, get your guys' opinions on the whole HD thing. If I do the HD, I probably won't do like this setting in HD, like you need to see my whiskery face in HD. Probably not. But if Ethan's going to start doing reviews with me all the time, we may go back to venturing out into the outdoors and to different locations again. That was fun when we did that in the year past. So we may go back to doing that. Right now, we won't go back to doing that because average temperature outside right now is 100 to 104 degrees most days right now. It's a little blistering hot to be staying outside and trying to talk about comics. But where does that all lead me to? Anyway, so positive and negative again. You got to suffer with another weekend of of crappy Hangouts from me. Apologize for that. And then hopefully next week we'll get into some good stuff up to speed. What else? Hangouts. Gonna be on Bat Chat. DaCosta DC Comics is going to, on his channel, will be having Bat Chat. He's got a trailer going right now for it. It's going to be on Saturday night. It's going to be a bi-weekly event kind of a thing, doing it twice a month. I think that's awesome. Kudos to you, John. I think it's a great show. We always have plenty to talk about. Everybody loves Batman, and even if you don't like Batman, you're going to show up to watch the show, so you can complain about Batman if you don't like Batman. You know, there's enough books out there. There's enough of us that collect and read Batman. That's just been a really good show up so far. So excited to continue to be invited to hang out and do the Bat Chat. So looking forward to that. Unfortunately, I don't have my Batman 22. I won't have my copy until next week, but I may work something out to have a copy before that. I may just take a trip to the chain store and buy an extra copy so we can talk about it, because I keep hearing everybody talk about how great it is. So, looking forward to that. Let's see. That's my personal stuff's going on. The only thing of news-wise, two things I think are interesting news-wise. One of them I forgot to talk about a while ago. The whole image, their whole Image Expo thing that they had. One of the biggest news that came out of there, I think, is Image is releasing their own digital comics, and they are not. They are what is that? DRM, is that what it is? You can download it, put it on whatever you want to, use it however you want to. It's actually in your possession. It is in your computer. You have ownership of it. You can transfer it to somebody else if you want to. It is yours, as opposed to this whole cloud thing where, you know, like Apple and iTunes and Comixology, for that matter, you know, you buy the comic, but it sits on their server. You go to their server to read it. If something were to happen to Cosmology, you don't have access to your comics, like when they did that big Marvel event thing and it crashed their servers. During that time, you couldn't read your comics if you were just a digital-only person. Was a huge drawback as far as I was concerned on why I would want to go digital comics. And just the fact that I don't really have ownership of it, that kind of bugs me. If for some reason Cosmology go bankrupt and they just shut down their store, what happens? Do you ever have that music? I mean, have those comics? Same with, you know, the iTunes thing to some degree. You can load it on some of your physical devices, but it's also floating around out there in the cloud or whatever the hell it's called. But if your devices get wiped and something were to happen to iTunes, you don't have the music anymore. You have nothing to hold on to show that you have possession of it or to give to somebody else. Whereas with the new way that Image is doing their books, you can get a PDF, you can get it in however form you want, and all the forms you want, and then you can do as you please with it. That's huge. I think that's really big. I think that has ramifications outside of just comic books. I think it has ramifications for books. I think it has ramifications for music. I think it has ramifications for all that stuff, and I think that's important. That's a big thing. That's a big thing. That's a step towards making digital comics have real value for me. Starts to. Not that it does, but starts to have real value for me. So that's a big deal. The other thing I want to talk about that was up in the news this last week is that I think is really interesting. Boom Studio. I don't know how many people are familiar with Boom Studio. Puts out some great books. They do Adventure Time. They do the regular show as far as the Cartoon Network things. They're doing Suicide Risk right now. What other kind of cool things have they done in the past or are doing right now? Hypernaturals. They've got some other books that are going to be coming out. But they hired George Perez. The George Perez is now a exclusive Boom Studio artist. He's going to work on some of the Boom Studios products and then move into his own products, doing his own storytelling and his own stuff. And part of him signing with Boom Studios is they are treating him like an employee. He has benefits, medical insurance and all that kind of stuff. That is cool. That is cool, and that is really interesting that one of these small companies, I think Boom Studios is potentially on the right track. They're hiring creators, do some work for them on some of the ideas they have. But they're also hiring creators with their own ideas and allowing them to actually venture into those ideas, to explore those things and what they want to say and that sort of thing. They're a small enough company that they're not tied up into the franchise so bad like Marvel and DC are to not be able to explore and tell their own thing. I think some of these smaller companies have some really good things going for them. Boom Studios is trying to run itself like a studio, and I think that's cool. Image Comics, I feel like, is less so. It's more of a free-for-all for freelancers. If you got good stuff or stuff they're interested in, they'll help you produce it, whatnot. But you're kind of on your own to some degree to sell it, to get it out there, and all that legwork that's involved. And your money comes after the fact and all that kind of stuff. Whereas, like I said, Boom Studios seems like it's a company. It's a small company that's trying to do right by its employees while maintaining a quality product. That's cool. Dark Horse, I think, was kind of like the same sort of a thing, seemingly to me, that Boom Studios is. They've got their network and their employees producing a product. Anyway, I thought it was really interesting that George Perez, who to me that's a big name. Even in his older years, he's still a big name to be producing stuff for them. I'm curious to see what he comes up with. I'll be watching that really closely because I bet you there'll be some quality stuff will come out of that. And this is the second time I'm yawning in this video, so maybe that means it's time to go. End of the day, and I'm tired. So yeah, there's that. Got my stitches pulled out of my thumb, but I'm still wearing the funky purple bandage because if I bang it too hard on something, it could actually still split open. So there's that. That means I'll actually get back to building on my little platform, so I can get my comic box, so I can get my huge stacks of comics, which are getting out of control again. If not much longer, and you're going to see those scene of me having my comics scattered all over the floor again and crying because it's going to take so much to get it all put back together again. All right, that's it. I'll see everybody on the weekend. Happy reading your books. Look forward to the positive things that are coming forward for me in my world of comics and YouTubing and stuff like that. And look forward to watching your guys' videos and having a great time talking about comics. Have a great one, everybody.